Oh my gosh, that's
Once hailed as the heart of Alaskan Bush People, Ami Brown was adored for her calm demeanor, soft voice, and unwavering strength. To millions of fans, she was the epitome of grace under pressure, a woman who faced the wilderness, motherhood, and hardship with courage and humility. Over the seasons, her role as the matriarch solidified her as a beloved figure in reality television. But not everyone was convinced. Some suspected her gentleness was more calculated than genuine. And now, with new revelations coming to light, fans are starting to question whether the Ami Brown they thought they knew ever really existed. Amy's journey began in the unforgiving Alaskan wilderness, where she and her husband, Billy Brown, carved out a life together far from modern comforts. The early years were filled with harsh winters, limited resources, and grueling conditions, but they endured. Together, they raised 7 children in the wild, relying on each other and the strength of their bond. Amy was not just a mother, she was a force. Her resilience and warmth became the emotional backbone of the Brown family. Fans looked up to her not only as a survivor, but as a woman who seemed to find purpose in struggle. In 2017, Amy's world was turned upside down when she was diagnosed with advanced stage lung cancer. The news shocked fans and devastated her family. What followed was a long, painful battle that took Amy out of the wilderness and into hospitals, chemotherapy, and intense medical treatment in California. Through it all, her fight was documented by the cameras. The vulnerability, the loss of her hair, her weakened body, it was all laid bare. But Amy never gave up. In 2018, she reached a milestone remission. It was a triumph not just for her, but for her family and devoted fans around the world. Though she survived cancer, the toll was undeniable. Her body, once full of life, was permanently altered. Breathing issues lingered, energy faded, and returning to the wild was no longer a simple decision. Still, Amy longed for the wilderness, her home. When she eventually returned, she did so cautiously. She leaned on her children, took medical precautions, and tried to rebuild a version of the life she had lost. But it was clear, things would never be the same. While Amy was focused on healing, tensions quietly grew within the Brown family. Rumors of internal conflict surfaced, with one of her sons, Noah Brown, reportedly filing a welfare check to ensure Amy was being properly cared for. The incident sparked controversy and pulled back the curtain on a family many had idealized for years. Though the Browns publicly reconciled and apologized, the damage to their once spotless reputation had already begun to spread. In 2024, just as life seemed to be regaining some normalcy, Amy's health sharply declined. Her breathing deteriorated rapidly, and she was rushed to the hospital in a state of emergency. Doctors worked frantically to stabilize her, placing her on a ventilator and monitoring her vitals around the clock. For days, Amy remained unresponsive. The Brown family fans and the larger Alaskan Bush People community braced for the worst. But then, slowly, signs of life returned. Her pulse improved, her eyes opened, her body began to fight back once again. Against all odds, Amy started recovering. She was eventually discharged from the hospital, though now with stricter health protocols, limited mobility, and a body still fragile from years of illness and treatment. Her recovery journey wasn't easy. Every step was a struggle, every breath hard-earned. But she pressed on, with her children by her side and a fan base cheering her on. Though she may never fully return to the woman she once was, Amy proved that her spirit remained unbroken. Just when it seemed Amy's story might end in peace, shocking allegations surfaced. Rumors began to swirl involving substance abuse within the Brown household. Names were mentioned: Rain Brown, Rain's partner Josiah Lorton, and shockingly Amy Brown herself. Fans were stunned. The same woman who had captured hearts for years was now implicated in behavior many believed was beneath her. What hurt most was Amy's silence. Rather than address the claims, she posted a casual photo with her daughter on Instagram, prompting backlash from followers who felt betrayed. Was the quiet, motherly figure all an act? Had Amy been hiding a darker truth all along? The revelations rocked not just her image, but the integrity of the Alaskan Bush People franchise itself. As the accusations spread, public support for Amy began to erode. Online, fans debated whether she was the victim of circumstance or a willing participant in actions that damaged her family's name. The reality show, once seen as a heartfelt portrayal of rustic resilience, now seemed shrouded in controversy. For Amy, the once revered matriarch, the fall from grace has been sharp and painful. Once lifted by her story of survival, she now faces the weight of public doubt. Amy Brown's life has been nothing short of dramatic, from wilderness hardships to cancer survival, family tensions to public controversies. Her journey is one of strength, heartbreak, and unresolved questions. For years, fans watched her navigate the raw, unforgiving terrain of the Alaskan wilderness, raising a family without the support systems that modern life provides. She became more than a reality TV figure. She was an emblem of perseverance, a mother figure to many, and a symbol of what it means to thrive against the odds. But as the cameras rolled, capturing moments of warmth, unity, and struggle, there were also silent battles brewing beneath the surface, ones that were never seen or heard until now. The woman who once represented purity, sacrifice, and unconditional love has, in recent times, become the subject of scrutiny and doubt. The stark contrast between the Amy the world thought they knew and the Amy now wrapped in controversy has left many grappling with an uncomfortable truth. Reality television is, at best, only part of the story. For nearly a decade, viewers connected emotionally with Amy's journey. They rooted for her when cancer threatened to take her life. They cried with her when she lost her husband. They applauded her resolve when she returned to the Alaskan wilderness, frail but undeterred. Each time she stumbled, the public waited for her to rise, and she did, time and time again. It's what made this latest chapter in her life so jarring. Now, the spotlight shifts once again, this time not on her triumphs but on her choices. What really went on behind closed doors? Did Amy, knowingly or unknowingly, contribute to the dysfunction that appears to have slowly unraveled the Brown family's public image? Was the facade of calm, kind leadership masking deeper personal struggles? What makes Amy's current situation so complex is the emotional investment fans have had in her story. For many, she wasn't just a character on a TV screen. She was someone they saw bits of themselves in. A fighter, a mother, a survivor. When accusations of substance abuse emerged, linking not only her but other family members, it shook the foundation of trust the audience had placed in her. And when Amy remained silent, the silence itself spoke volumes. Of course, it's essential to remember that no one is perfect. The wilderness doesn't create heroes. It creates survivors. And survivors are often flawed. They make hard decisions, they bend under pressure, and they sometimes break. It's entirely possible that the woman who carried her family through the darkest nights also carried burdens too heavy to share publicly. Perhaps her alleged mistakes were born not of malice, but of exhaustion, trauma, or fear. Still, when you've built a legacy on values of resilience and transparency, any deviation from that standard is bound to raise questions. What's especially heartbreaking is how this controversy has impacted not just Amy, but the entire Brown family. The cracks in their unity have become public, and the once tightly knit image they portrayed now feels more fragmented. Fans have seen the tensions play out subtly over the years, but never quite this visibly. The welfare check request filed by Noah Brown is just one example of how private family dynamics have spilled into public view, leaving audiences wondering how much of what they believed was real. And then there's the broader issue of celebrity vulnerability. The pressures of being a public figure, especially one whose life was filmed in its most intimate, raw moments, are immense. Perhaps Amy Brown's alleged behavior isn't just a reflection of personal flaws, but a consequence of living under relentless scrutiny. The expectations were never fair. She was expected to be perfect, to smile through pain, to recover from cancer, return to a brutal climate, and hold her family together without ever cracking under pressure. That kind of weight can break anyone. Still, fans want answers. Not because they want to condemn Amy, but because they feel betrayed. Many gave their hearts to her story. They prayed for her healing. They donated to support her treatment. They defended her when critics emerged. In return, they hoped for honesty, a response, an explanation. But Ami has remained tight-lipped, which only adds fuel to the fire. Some argue she owes fans nothing. After all, she never signed a contract that promised perfection. She lived her life the best way she could, and the cameras were simply there to document it. Others insist that public figures, especially ones whose stories become part of the cultural consciousness, have a responsibility to address major controversies head-on. The truth likely lies somewhere in between. What's undeniable is that Ami's story isn't over. Whether she chooses to speak out, deny the allegations, or remain silent indefinitely, her legacy will continue to evolve. It's up to the fans, the media, and the world to decide what to make of it. Will she be remembered as the strong, nurturing matriarch who defied the odds and fought cancer with grace? Or will the shadow of recent events overshadow the warmth and strength that defined her early years on the show? Time will tell. Redemption is possible. So is clarity. But for now, Ami Brown stands at a crossroads between what was, what is, and what might still be. This leaves us with a difficult question. Do you believe Ami Brown is innocent? Or is there more to the story than we've been told? Is this just another chapter in a long, difficult life story that's still unfolding? Or is it the beginning of a permanent change in how the world sees one of reality TV's most iconic figures? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters in this conversation. Whether you still support Ami, feel disappointed, or are simply confused by the recent developments, we want to hear from you. And if you're invested in the story of the Brown family, don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth stories, updates, and breakdowns from the world of Alaskan Bush people. Before you go, take a moment to reflect on the complexity of human lives, especially the ones lived so publicly. Ami Brown's story, like many others, reminds us that behind every camera frame is a real person,